Hi folks, it's the China Guitar Skeptic back again. Just doing a quick video in response to loads and loads of contacts I've had recently. In fact, it was a surprising amount. So I've been asked the question about the Chinese PRLS. Incidentally, no, this isn't a Chinese, this is a proper BMH Burns Brian May model that I've had for years. No, the reason I wanted to make a video is it's easier than trying to get in touch with everybody individually. Been questions about sellers and particularly who I bought from and where I bought the blue PRLS Maggie. I've had a couple about Tiger as well. But what I've done is I've made a little crib sheet just to go through what I would recommend you do if you really feel you have to buy a fake guitar from China. I can tell you one of my sellers, I can tell you the blue seller straight away, and I don't mind coming public with that now either, because he's shut down on AliExpress. He was at AliExpress, he was a seller called Guitar Monopoly, but his site has now been shut down. I sent him an email and asked him what had happened, and he said he'd been shut down, and I can't remember what the reason exactly was that he gave, but he was pretty vague about it, and it didn't sound like the same guy. So number one piece of advice I'm going to give you is, if you're going to buy these things, do your research, have a look around, look on multiple websites. I think you'll find that they're probably all the same people, but go and have a little look on all the sites. I like AliExpress because it gives you very clear feedback and you can read everybody else's feedback. I think that there are two different types of seller, and I think that a lot of other people have come to this conclusion as well. The first is the guys that are actually involved with the factories that are building these guitars. I'm not sure how many factories there are. Somebody said to me the other day that there were hundreds. Others think there may be as few as 4 factories making these replica guitars. Let's call them fakes, shall we? So I think that there's two different types of seller. One is the guy that's actually working in or directly for the factories, and then there's resellers, and I think the vast majority of people on these sites are resellers, and it does feel a little bit like the guitars are being made by just a few factories. I've only got 2 at the moment, so I can't speak with a great deal of authority. I've got 2 more coming, and I will see how they come out and if they are very, very similar in build. Certainly a lot of the problems that I've noticed on the guitars that I've been sent so far have been very similar. They've always had issues with the 6th fret, the 12th or 13th fret, and somewhere up around 15 to 17. There's always, and I'm wondering if they're all being cut, all these fingerboards are being cut on the same machine, and the alignment or the depth gauge on those particular strings are either too shallow, so the frets are sitting higher, or there's a problem with it. But there you go. So I would recommend going to the factory guys, because they're likely to be able to get you pictures all the way through, and in this process communication is king. I only use sellers that have got 100% feedback on the particular instrument I'm buying and a good feedback score in general. That way you know that other people have got what they've asked for and what they've paid for. Third thing, sorry, I'm checking my crib sheet so I don't miss anything. Yeah, look at previous feedback and read all the comments, read other people's comments, see what they thought of the actual guitar you're being sent. Fourth, if these guys are at a factory, they'll be able to send you pictures. Get pictures sent. They will send you pictures during the build, pre-finished pictures. If they're legitimate factory sellers, they'll be able to send those to you. So that I definitely ask them for pictures. Certainly before sending the completed item, I want to see a picture of it complete, the actual guitar I'm getting. But also if they can send you pictures during the build, you can pick up on anything that you don't like. So yeah, I mean, that's communication is king. Sound like some marketing guru now, but seriously, a good seller will always answer you generally within a day. So because of the time difference, I don't know what it's like for the States, but certainly here in the UK, all these sellers that are worth their salt have been coming back to me within 24 hours. So look for that. If it takes longer, personally, I'd drop them like a hot brick, because chances are that they're a reseller. They may not be the same person. And I've got a sneaky feeling that Guitar Monopoly turned into a different person. So I think they might just be agencies within the guitar factories as well. Because his English changed, his ability to converse in English changed. It got slightly better than it was originally. And he's got a little bit slower at replying. So I'm not convinced it's the same guy. I suppose the last piece of advice that I would give anybody is, before you buy these, not these are fab, buy as many of these as you like, they cost you a few pennies, but they're the real McCoy. Check your conscience before you buy a Chinese rip-off or a fake. I'm not going to bang on or get on a soapbox about the rights and wrongs of it, because I've bought them, and I bought them as a project and as a little test and a bit of fun, because I like to do up guitars. And I thought they were going to be much worse than they were, so I'm not going to lie to you about that. I've been surprised. My name was Guitar Skeptic, China Guitar Skeptic, but they've actually proved to be pretty fine instruments with a lot of work. That's the other thing. But I have wrestled with my conscience, because although it may be legal for us in the UK to import and use these and play them, I'm not sure as a guitarist how I feel about playing a fake. There's two things that definitely you need to remember. Never pass it off as the real thing. In your conscience, you know that it's not a real PRS, Gibson, whatever. The kudos is in being able to do them up and play them well and enjoy them. So yeah, I'd never pass them off as the real McCoy. That's why I'm having the headstock decal changed on the next PRS that comes over. And the second thing is, you can never sell them, because that is where you are breaking the law. They are not legal to sell because they're a fake. If you don't know how to set a guitar up, if you don't know how to adjust a truss rod, fiddle about with the saddles to change the height of the action, the intonation, you don't know about setting up the springs on a floating trem, if you've got a trem model that is. If you don't know all of that, you're going to have to take these guitars to somebody that does. And it's great if you've got a friend that will do it for you for nothing. Super, no problem with that. But others are going to have to spend money going to a luthier. The other thing is, all of them that I've come up with, I know that there's a few people that have said they've been brilliant out of the box. I know that Dino's just got a couple of new Les Pauls that the pups sounded great out of the box. So I'm really pleased for him, and they look beautiful. That Sparkle Burst is absolutely lovely. And I know that Telepathic Traffic had quite nice sounding pickups, but everyone that I've got on the PRS has been microphonic. They haven't been potted. Vambostrausser, I'm not going to say the W word. They've needed to be swapped out, so that's going to be an extra cost. I've been really lucky. I found this manufacturer, Entwistle, who make fabulous budget, reasonably priced pickups, and so I've managed to swap them out because I know what I'm doing. So they're a project. They are a project, and if you take that in mind, and you take in mind that you've got to wrestle with your conscience if you're going to pretend that they're real, but just know the pitfalls. I really hope that this video has been helpful and informative, and answers all of the questions. If there's any questions, I'll do my best to come back to everybody that has emailed me anyway, but please be patient, because there's quite a few of you now. And in the meantime, everybody, enjoy, take care, and rock on.